Now that we understand our conversion cost document from our last video, investigating culinary math, we can start training on adding conversion factors to your detective's kit. All right, this video will be covering how to scale a recipe to make more or less based off that original recipe, what's a conversion factor and why it's important, how to convert a recipe's servings. Thus, we'll be reviewing columns A, B, C on this cost conversion document. The yellow tape case files documents needed for this video is going to be your culinary math murder Excel, your omelet recipe, and your omelet recipe cost and conversion master. All right, so here we go. Let's go ahead and get this party started. In this video, we are going to be talking about converting or scaling a recipe to a new desired amount. The recipe you choose will be called the original recipe. I'll say it again. The recipe you choose will be called the original recipe. This was the blue columns. The first thing we want to do when chef asks you to convert a recipe to make more or less of an original recipe is to find that original recipe. So let's open up the original recipe for this omelet. Today, because it's an excellent recipe, get it? Excellent omelets? All right. We're going to be using this very simple recipe called a plain rolled omelet. In the omelet recipe, it's got a title. It's also got a number of servings it makes or it yields. This is really, really important here, guys. The original recipe is going to be making 10 omelets. And right below, it's going to be all the ingredients with their amounts and units that are going to be making 10 omelets. Lastly, right below the ingredients, you've got the procedures or steps of how to put it together. For the sake of today, we're only focusing on the title, the number of servings, the ingredients, their amounts, of course, with units. Once you've obtained your original recipe, it is now time for you to go find your master conversion cost form. Tip: once you open the master conversion cost form, save it to your desktop and title it so that you don't have to keep overwriting your master. It keeps it so fresh and so clean. All right, so now we've opened up your conversion cost document. It could be the master, it could be the omelet conversion cost document, either will work, all right? The great news about this, guys, is that I still use this same document even today, all right? If I have to cost out or scale a recipe, this is my go-to. Important, have your original recipe open and your cost conversion document open at the same time. Once you open that omelet cost conversion doc and save it to your desktop as the recipe you're making, and in this case today it's omelets, all right? You first need to list the title. Then in the top left box, fill out the original servings or yields or portions. From video number 2, these are the blue sections. Looking at this original omelet recipe, it says it makes 10 servings. So in your columns A, copy the original recipe's ingredients, and in column B, copy the original recipe's amounts and units. Units, super important. Remember, if it's flaws, it's volume. If it's ounces or ounce weight, it's going to be weight. Now that I've filled out my original recipe amounts in column A and B, you wrote the number of servings that the original recipe makes. Now it's time to ask yourself, am I making more or am I making less? Nerd alert! It really doesn't matter if it's more or less because it's going to be this same process. In today's scenario, chef has asked you to only make 2 servings versus the original recipe, which was 10 servings. Thus is the new desired amount of 2 omelets. This is where I like to come up with a little funny acronym. I might be dating myself and maybe none of you were even around then, but Google this if you get a chance. There was a big whole campaign called DARE, which had a saying, just say no to drugs. This is how I remember how to always figure out a conversion factor. So what is a conversion factor, detective? A conversion factor is a number It's going to be able to help you take your original recipe and make more or less desired servings depending on your chef's instructions. All right. So, how do you figure out what your conversion factor is? So just tell yourself no, or no to conversions. Well, what the heck does detective mean by this? You're always going to divide the new desired servings, or yield, or portion size, by the original recipe serving yield or portion size. There is your no, n divided by O. With this recipe for omelets, chef says to make 2 servings versus 10. So remember, just say no. Divide the new amount, which is 2 servings, by the original amount, which is 10 servings. Your conversion factor comes out to equal 0.2. Referring to video number 2, you would plug this 0.2 in the orange column, or column C. Here's another example. Now say that chef says 20 servings he wants. He doesn't want 2. Divide the new desired amount, which is 20 servings, by the original amount, which was 10 servings. Your conversion factor comes out to equal now 2. Referring to video number 2, you would plug this into the orange column, or column C. Back to our exercise. Once you plugged in your conversion factor in column C, which is 0.2, then you're going to do some math. Notice there's a little blue clues up here at the top that tell you what you need to do for your math. Note the backslashes are division. So between column B and C, you're multiplying by your conversion factor, and column D is what you're going to need for each ingredient to only make 2 omelets. So this concludes our video today. Let's continue to practice conversion factors in our exercises. If you get stuck, return to this video and start and stop it. Guys, hard work always pays off. Again, if you want those stronger muscles, exercise them more. And as always, #we got this. Stay tuned for the next video, identifying culinary maths henchmen. EP and AP.